Aye. Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to town board meeting, December 19th, 2022. Have a motion to open the meeting. So moved. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Right. We have two public hearings tonight. First, up, anything from the Bob, anything on the agenda? No. Okay. Two public hearings tonight. First public hearing on introductory law number 5 of 2022, a local law amending the code of the town of Goshen, chapter 89, entitled Vehicle and Traffic, Article 2, Stop Intersections. There's a list of intersections there that Robert is going to be, if they aren't up already, we'll be putting stop signs up. Any comment from the board?
It's a great idea, to be very candid with it.
I need a motion. to
Open the public hearing.
We
So
did.
moved. Second.
Now, is there any comment from the board?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. With some of these roads. And the stop signs.
Anybody from the public?
Yeah, are these the 2 or 3 roads that you talked about previously?
No, these are all the, I have it here, if you'd like to see it.
Yeah,
I'll show
go
you
ahead,
the
let's see it for a second.
So it's just different intersections around the town
Inherited,
and heritage.
just inherited.
No, it's.
It's every other It's every place that you have a stop sign and the stop sign was supposed to be. We're catching up.
Oh, so this really has nothing to do with Gull Road?
It's just catching up on all the subdivisions that are built the last 2 years.
Any other comments? Anything from the public?
Motion to
I have a
close.
motion to close the public hearing.
So
Second,
Second, Bill.
all in favor?
Aye.
I gotta have, open up the second public hearing.
Motion to adopt the local law, introductory local law number 5.
There you go.
So-
All in favor?
Aye.
What's next, man?
Number
Open
2,
Open the public hearing, number 2?
Yeah.
I have much trouble with it.
So moved.
I'll second it. All in favor?
one from the board,
I didn't read it yet. Public hearing on introductory law number 6, 2022, a local law amending chapter 49 entitled Building Construction to provide for administration and enforcement of the 2022 amendment to the New York State Uniform Fire Prevention Building Code and repealing chapter 49C Building Code Administration. This is just came down from the state, correct? So, just an amendment that, to the fire code, it's mandated that we put in town code. Any questions?
I do. It's not so much a question, but kind of pointing it out on page 15, operating permits in the section A. And this is for again, the state of New York Fire Code, go all the way down to M on page 16. The mobile food preparation vehicle. Operating a mobile food preparation vehicle according to such permitting requirements that may be established by the town board. Well, I don't know if we've ever done that before. But the other thing is, does this mean that the building inspector needs to go out and inspect that vehicle if they're complying with procedures? I think it does, but
Well, Board of Health, Board of Health is required to go out on any mobile food vehicles.
Yeah.
And do the walking. We have that today. We had somebody do it today for,
yeah, but it's not mobile, it's going to be stationary.
well, it's mobile, it's a mobile unit. It's just not gonna be moving around. It's a trailer, yeah. It's all behind trailer.
They have to get a permit for that?
Yeah.
Has to get a permit from us, yes.
Well, they from us.
Right, from the town clerk can issue a permit.
Yeah.
And then the Board of Health is the one that does the inspection of, from the health perspective. So they have to get a health permit from the
well,
board.
this is not health, this is safety. Fire.
Correct. But we would go out as, they would pay their fee every year, just like every other business pays, and we go out and inspect it.
Now, the thing is, the county can, for example, we have one out there in 17 and I have had a problem with it for years. The town board said, no, we don't want this, for the two-way traffic. People walking across the road to get, you know, and, but anyway, that was, yeah, but that was, the county gave that.
He's a veteran,
I was
that's-
a veteran. We didn't have anything to do with it.
I think
It's an exemption in the law, veterans are automatic, even in our law.
yeah,
Yeah.
We have to,
Yeah.
we have to give them a permit.
What?
Thanks, Frank.
Anyway, that was the only thing I saw this thing.
George, yeah, okay, cool, and very correctly was first copy that we got of this, had a whole bunch of comments.
From Kelly
Kelly York, yeah, so this copy here now that I just got,
was okayed by the building department.
Right,
He
so-
agreed.
does it incorporate
It incorporated
Incorporates.
Kelly's comment.
all those comments? So in, some of them are, you know, 90 days, 60 days, and stuff like that.
Right.
She recommended a certain thing, and I wouldn't cover that, but there are things that she, talked to us about whether or not we want to include it. Like, for instance, on page 5. Page 5 now, I'm talking about the first copy that I got, so I don't know if it's. Page 5, so it's under. It's under 49.3. So the first thing it says here, her comment is.
What
this-
letter is it, George? C, D?
F. So it says, this is not a requirement of the state. This is something the town adopted in local law 1 of 2004. And the board should discuss if they still wish to include this.
That's that the code officer live within Orange
Yeah.
County.
That's
That's in there.
Yeah, I
It's a
say
keeper.
keep it. Unless there's some reason you want to change it, if you said that years ago.
Right, and then the same thing with engaging in activities. So you said
Which letter is that?
F, G, and H.
Right,
So we kept all three of those.
yes.
Then the next one was exemptions. And Billy wrote to us, there is no requirement that the
Page,
board.
sorry, page.
Page 6, number B. Letter B, the exemptions. Says, there is no requirement that the board exempt anyone. So she does recommend that certain things would be exempt.
Right, and Frank agreed and left in the exception.
Left it, okay, and then what about, the ones that are right, like construction of temporary sets and scenery associated with motion pictures?
Yeah, he has that.
That's included?
Yeah,
We're not talking about exemption, the ag, farms, can they build a barn without a building permit? I think they can, so that.
Yeah.
I don't think they need a building permit, but I think they still have to get, I don't think they pay for it, they have to get them, though, because you still need electrical inspection. Even though they're exempt. from-
you have to ask Frank.
Yeah, they would definitely have to get an electrical inspection.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that would make sense.
So, Mary and then Joey, you know, so all of these things that you put in, Frank looked it over and said, yes, I think that those recommendations
Right.
should either be included or excluded.
Yeah.
Right, and the copy you have here is what the.
Frank agreed with everything Kelly suggested. He thought it was perfect.
Okay. Sure, I just- Okay, no, I'm good. Comments from the residents?
I think with the agricultural, that you're talking, there are not only that conservation. We need to put the conservation, when you split the property, that's what, they still have the right, the farmers that we bought the farms from, they still have the right to build the buildings.
PDR.
Structures.
But also, I think in terms of, I don't know, the building perspective, these barns.
Yeah.
Some of them are old. Certainly were not made to code when they were built,
No,
probably 40, 50, 60 years ago. I could-
All right, any other comments?
To the public,
We did. All right, so can I have a motion to accept the construction
have a
law?
motion
so
to
I'm
close.
gonna close the public hearing, make the motion to close the public hearing.
Bill, second,
You gotta write these notes down. When I
I'm
go under the
sorry.
weather, I just got way too much mic fault today.
motion to adopt,
No, we're gonna all vote on that.
Close it first, right?
We just
Yeah.
did that.
Motion, the second.
I first, Rick second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, what's
I
that?
move that we adopt the local law.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, I told you I could stay home tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Item number one, discuss the intermunicipal agreement with real property for the assessors office. We discussed it at the last meeting. We talked about the cost saving for us to bring the current employees we have in-house. There are 0 other than Alan part-time building inspectors in the county. I sat with Alan and he told me he'd be working for at least another 7 years. Along with Kelly, Kelly plans to run this term and then next term. So the cost savings is there, it's roughly $35,000 cost savings, with them coming out. I don't know if anybody else spoke to them. I did. So, I got a, do I have to put this thing on?
yeah, you can turn it on.
George. Okay, so, actually went up there twice and, both times Alan was not there, but Eileen was there and, she's very knowledgeable about all of the ins and outs of the assessors. And, from where we came with the county and John McCary, as they described to me now, we're in a whole different situation. Essentially, John McCary was looking to get other municipalities to join him, and he was doing that. Now, it's Goshen and Chester, because of the only two. And Pompey. Pompey, yeah, she didn't mention, no, maybe she did. There's only two, and essentially, in our contract, they were supposed to supply people to the tune of 200 hours. And essentially, they have applied, they have worked over people 0 hours. They're short staffed over there. They don't have the staff more, and I think they're kind of inclined to say, we don't really want to do this for whatever reason. So, with that in mind, and with Alan and Aileen, really very knowledgeable about it, I think it's they're kind of skeptical about it, but I've walked out of there thinking, I think it's a really good thing to do.
George, this started with the state of New York. They asked counties and towns and municipalities to look, how could they consolidate things, share work? And so this is, I think, when was it, 2007? It's way back. So anyway, we were having meetings over at the 911 center with all the people looking, where can we do things? And so John McCary talked about what we could do, and so then Phil and I went over and negotiated this. And then it's evolved, and we've had savings. And I heard about a year ago, they thought they might want to give up on this because they didn't have enough people of their own, trained people, and to give to us. So anyway, so I think it's a good deal that your approach to it, we can get 7 more years of it.
Sure, yeah.
First thing is, the people that are up there are county.
That-
What we can. we reimburse them if they want to do it.
Today,
Right, you're not our employee, that's okay.
That's today.
that's today, it's not gonna be that way tomorrow, it's different.
If we approve this, they come to work for us.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yes.
Thank you for
Yes,
informing.
if we approve. If we approve it, they come to work for us.
Before we do that, we need to sit with the county, because that's who we're contracting. Once again, sitting with Eileen and Alan is not gonna do it, because frankly, what we're doing is not creating people, we're creating two positions. Town positions that are not there right now. So it's not just a matter of, let's get them to work for us. we can make a position. And if the county wants out, and I think when John McCary left, I think the burden for these guys, and we met with the new guys, and it was quite obvious that they didn't want the burden of doing this, whether it was economical for the county or not. They wanted out because it was extra work, which is okay. But what we have to do is resolve, are they in it or not? If they're not, or do we want to contract them or not? And if we don't, then those are positions that have to be filled, but I'm not sure if we can just take two people and fill those positions. I'm not sure if there's a civil service situation. I don't know. I mean, I didn't think so when we hired the assessor.
They both came up with a list, so they meet.
They did. Oh, okay, good.
They meet
So
civil service
what I'm
criteria.
saying is, we're not looking at it, we're looking at it as to, we're gonna hire these people. No. These people may leave January 1st. Now we have two positions that we're gonna have to fill. That's okay. with me.
Yeah.
I'm not finding the issue. All I'm saying is, let's recognize what this thing really is. Okay, so.
One of
that's
the,
what we're
one of
gonna
the
show.
other things that they did for us, like pilots. We would go over there and John McCary would lead the meeting, whether it be, solar projects or whatever it might be. And they did all of that. And then they had the school board there, some people there, so because the school, the town, the village, or whoever's involved in it. So that I guess we'll have to pick up here.
But we don't have
No,
John
the
anymore.
county will continue to do pilots.
Well, then,
The county will do that.
if that's part of the deal, then that even makes it better. Sure.
So, does the county want to be out of the business? I guess if you ask Paul Wiley, his answer is going to be no. But the way you get out of the business is you price yourself out of the business, and that's exactly what they did.
No, I think they want.
Yeah, but they're not
Oh,
gonna come right out and say that. That's
Oh,
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
So the best way out of it is if you're not gonna say, admit that you want out of this business, then price yourself out of the market. If I get the extra 25 grand, okay, well, we'll stay in it for another year.
All right, yeah, I mean, I'm not.
So, I mean, but if you look at Aileen and you look at Alan, both of them from the civil service, they were both civil service tested employees. We're giving them at the capacity that we have them now for roughly $30,000 less than we'd be paying the county. I think both of them are exceptional employees. They've been running that
They are.
three-man office, two-man office for the whole year.
There's
We're
no
getting
question.
everything done. We're getting, she's out reassessing people. She's out finding for us. We have a place over in Rolling Ridge right now who she went out there and so it's a triplex that we had put in Rolling Ridge. And I guess the person that bought it now just made 3 more apartments downstairs. So she brought it to my attention. She said, how do you want to handle this? And we're handling
I
it.
have no issue with the employees, but they're not ours.
Today are not ours. Tomorrow they will.
You know what I'm saying? I have no issue with the employees. I want to make sure we do it right. Make sure that if we have a vacancy, and that's what they'll be. We're going to create 2 new vacancies. And we would prefer to have them, but I don't know protocol. If we have to.
They have to be on the list.
We can get them as an intermunicipal transfer,
Right.
like we did Frankfurt.
Intermunicipal transfer. That's it. There's the deal.
But they're both on the list. They were both on the list. They're
Yeah.
both on the civil
All right,
service.
And plus,
Plus Alan has the appointed assessor.
Correct.
Quite a while back.
What are you?
Rick, anything?
No, I agree with
you know, that's a, just, we're a first-class town. Do we need a full-time assessor? Because, whether he was part-time or not, the county was the full-time assessing unit. Once again, we're a first-class town. Does that position have to be filled by a full-time assessor? That's a department. You need to find these things out.
It does not.
Does,
It does not. long as you have an assessor that you know, has an assessor's license, you're good to go. And now Alan's a fully, he's licensed assessor, yeah. He's one of the only few part-timers left,
Right,
which fills the mode. Otherwise, that 140, 130, we're gonna be paying would be 190.
yeah, well, we're gonna end up doing,
We are.
trust me. You're gonna end up doing it, you start assessing yourself.
Maybe so.
Been on this
Right now,
road.
right now, they're doing the job. They're
I
doing the job
understand.
phenomenally. But we just have to broach this and look at it each year, that's all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And at this point, they said they won't look at. There'll be an additional step, they look at themselves right now.
The thing is, if one of them dies, God forbid, or moves to Florida or whatever, we're gonna be the market to go out and hire full time. Because no one's gonna work part-time. for us.
Yeah.
Well, they both answered all the questions other than I asked them if they're gonna die, but everything else they said, they're now moving to Florida, they're gonna be.
Oh, no, that-
You're not gonna go in front of any buses.
But other than that,
Hey, but what I'm sharing is, there's, 7 years out.
yeah,
I
It's a
mean, as
little,
long as we,
but it's the best thing I think we can do.
yeah, as long as we go in with our eyes open, that's all I'm doing,
Yeah.
is just giving everybody
dot
a
all your i's, cross all your t's, make sure.
higher view.
With under the county contract, we were looking for a part-timer, and they couldn't even pull
They
a
couldn't fill that.
part-time clerk for the assessor's office.
They
They're
can
so
go-
far behind, there's nobody out there. You know, so we could wind up with nobody in that office either way.
Either way, yeah.
Aileen is definitely not staying because she's not working right. for us.
Right, no, she's.
She's gone, she's away from the county, she'll go back to selling houses. Any other discussion? We want to have a motion,
I make a motion, we adopt this.
The position, not the people.
the positions, correct?
Right.
Well, what's the motion? Sorry, just
I'm
want to
just
be clear.
trying to figure out what the.
So it would be a motion to create the position of part-time assessor and full-time assistant assessor.
And that the town of Goshen picks up the responsibilities for this.
Right, so it would also be we'd be voting on to separate from the county. So not renew our contract as of January 1st.
For the intermunicipal agreement.
Yes.
That's a good, that would be really good.
Got that all on there? Good. So, have a motion to do all of that. If there was a repeat.
Doug made the motion,
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
so we're gonna create the position of a part-time assessor, a full-time assistant assessor, and
And fill it
separate.
with,
Fill it with
as an intermunicipal transfer
from the county.
Yeah.
employees. Alan and Eileen. Should be all in that version. Right. I can move soon.
To separate from the county contract starting January 1st.
Well, just not renew it,
Yeah,
not separate it, because the contract is expired.
now you have to set them, or at least Eileen up as a full-time employee with the benefits. and-
She's not, her husband has benefits, she doesn't need benefits.
No. She's working, is gonna be retiring, and all of that.
Oh, yes,
What
correct.
you have to do, yeah, I mean, you have, this is
Well, I believe she's already in the county retirement plan, so she's just moving over, that's all.
whatever whatever we have to do. Fill it as one needs of the full-time employee.
Yeah.
They have to do application and everything.
Yeah,
It's not our employer,
we have to create the position too.
just did,
No, I
No,
mean,
with the county.
we have to create the position, civil service
oh,
for our
okay,
paperwork.
right, okay, so that's what I'm talking about.
But if she's going to be a full-time employee for the town of Goshen, okay? She'll be eligible for the buyout or the insurance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right,
Where Alan will not be because he's part-time.
Right.
correct. All right. We're good with that, Rick?
We're good.
Okay, item number 2, discuss and approve the employee policy manual. This is something that's been an ongoing policy manual that's been in place for a while, but it's never been adapted, right? And then
Right.
adopted.
Right.
Has anybody gone through it, looked at it, any questions upon it? We have new employees that we're bringing on, but we have to get them to sign this.
I have to provide them with the policy manual and get them to fund certain things. They received it. Within, I know,
I went through it and gave you.
yeah, I did your correction, yeah.
But I have, someone else, I have one other item that I want to speak to. Now? Yeah, that's true. Okay, so, the thing that I want to speak to tonight is the, medical insurance for retirees, which is on page 34. When I cut to the point where it says eligibility, to be eligible for coverage, a retiree must be age 55 or older. B must have at least 10 years of continuous full-time service, and then receive retirement benefits through the retirement system. So what I was thinking about was this. Just give you one example. We have a person who comes to work for us when they're 50 years old. They work 10 years, so now they're 60. They're eligible for the retirement system because they're over 55 or 60 or whatever figures, whatever tier they have. And then they go into retirement, and they're 60 years old. So their self and their spouse are now eligible for health insurance from the town of Goshen for the rest of their lives. Until they hit Medicare. Well, right, Medicare, but then as far as Medicare is concerned, I was getting to that after that. I just roughed out some figures of it because essentially what I'm saying is the cost of this is just incredible when you think about it. I have no problem with a person working here 20 years or more, or whatever it is, and getting the full entire package. But I think the 10-year threshold is a little bit too rich for my taste. So my example that I talked about before, until they go into Medicare, it would cost a single $6,900, and a double would be $18,000, and that would be plus the HRA. I didn't figure what the HRA is. The HRA is running about 40 to 50% of the total amount, so there's more money than just those figures. And then when Medicare kicks in, if they were single, it would cost, because there's a reimbursement, to $2,040. And that's this year's stuff. This is going to continue to increase more and more over 20 or 30 years. Plus, there's a thing called Pine Star, I think it is. You remember, Mary, what that is for the retirees?
Oh, Benestar?
Benestar. So Benestar is $6,900 a year for a single, and for a couple it's $20,400. So you have a complete package for a single of almost $9,000, and a couple $24,500. You project that
I
out.
don't think Benestar is that much, Judge. I think
I looked it up today.
I think
I wanted to project it.
for a couple for a month is 11.55.
Yeah, for a month. I mean, then I projected that out a year.
So it would be 12,000,
13,000.
13,000, or 20,000.
No. It's because it's, I think it's $575 for a single, and it's double that for a couple.
1,100.
1,155 times 12 is 13,000, not 20,000. No, but then on top of that, when I said the 9,000 and the 24,500, that also then includes the reimbursement for the Part B part of it.
That's Medicare.
Yeah.
They have to have Medicare.
Yeah, they have
So
Medicare.
if they have
And then
Medicare, they're not eligible for insurance.
what I'm telling you is this is a combination of the reimbursement from Medicare plus
the Benestar benefit. And my figures, 24.5, everything combined for a couple, $9,000 for a single. You project that out over 20 years, it's 180,000 for a single, and it's 490,000 for a couple over 20 years. For 10 years of work in the town of Goshen. As I said, I have no problem with somebody who has 20 years, maybe even 15 years. For 10 years, being able to get that, my money's too rich a package.
What is the 490,000 all insurance?
Yes, over 20 years.
So if they came in at 50 and 62, 65, they would get medical.
Right.
So they would be paid medical, that would be insurance, and you wouldn't get the town's portion of insurance. You would get it from medical.
You're reimbursed for the Part B and the RS.
Yeah, but that's only, that's minimum.
Well,
That's minimum.
I have the figures right here. For a single, it's $2,040. For a couple, it's $4,080.
Per year,
Reimbursements, yes.
per year.
Yeah.
So what's the rest of it? I'm not sure.
The Benestar.
What is the benefit?
I'm sorry,
What is the benefit?
your supplemental insurance that we provide to you, your own benefit.
The Hartford, the Hartford secondary?
Yeah.
For your secretary.
Plan that.
So what you're saying though is if it's 1,150, that's for the couple. That's for a couple for the year.
I want to say it's 575.89 for a single, so double that.
Right.
Right.
11.5.
Right, which then, so you're talking about maybe like 13,000
That was.
or thereabouts for you. Okay. So what I was doing is I was thinking that the amount of 150 was for each person. And the spouse, so it's say 13,000. So anyway, I think health insurance overall is just, when you look at the night shift plan. The night shift plan for the police department is $33,000 for a family. Police
So
are
they only have to work 20 years.
Yep.
So,
But George, the fact is, today in our environment, medical insurance is always getting up, is exponential going up in costs, okay? And when we brought on the MVP and all these things, we did it, and we knew it was gonna be expensive, the HRA and all. But we said, well, you know what? Our most valuable resource is the employees. This is 10 years ago when we did it. And I still believe that to be the case. And that's just a part of doing business.
My intention is that if you work here just for 10 years, get that package is too rich for me. Something should be, there should be a factor in there. I'll give you a couple of examples. One example would be if you work here 10 years, we pay 50% of it. And the employee would pay the other 50%. If you work 15 years, we would pay 75% of it. If you work over 20 years here, you get the full boat, just like, as I said before, I have no problem with people over 20 years getting whatever the package is. But I just think that 10 years is a short period of time to work to get that package for the rest of your life. How long have you been on the board? 16. And this is the first time you're seeing this in 16 years? Really ironic. Well, what brought to a head is the medical insurance buyout brought to a head. I realize that. No, I'm not accepting that. That's not the case. What brought to the head is I had to read the whole handbook from cover to cover. And this was, it took you 16 years to read it. Wow. Sure. It is. All right, well, listen, that's your position. I mean, the board can vote any way they want to vote. I personally,
not everybody's gonna come to you and only.
well,
It's just not.
what do we do with what do we do?
What do we do with everybody that is already on that? Do we go back and say now you're not gonna get that?
Well, there's another way of doing that. Say after after a certain date that they're hired, then this would kick in. The 25, 50, 75, just like we do with one of the, we do that now with the CSA contract and health insurance. Where they're paying 10%. Bill?
I'm ready to go. This thing is a done deal. It did a- What is, you're on the freaking. Boy, boy. If you wanna take another look at it? 5 years, you wanna take another look at it, that's fine. You can't go.
I have no issue taking another look at it and visiting it, but Mary.
I just want to approve it so I can give it to the new employees.
Yeah.
Because we have at least 5 new employees and this is going to affect. I need to tell them our rules and regulations. I need to show them our holidays, what they're gonna get, what they're not gonna get.
Yeah.
You could change this, of course, and revisit it at any time.
You know, I think just if
What?
that's the case, we have to look at the entire. Rather than just 50 years old. Not that 55, 60 years, in order to get that.
It's easy enough.
People that are there.
Right.
So how do you want to handle this?
Want to change the age?
Well, once they kick in, whatever tier they're in, whatever they kick in, whatever age they can, there's a service that they have. It's a lot. You can't just say, okay, now you can't retire until 60.
Yeah, like that, anybody we are now is tier 6, so they have to be 65.
Right.
63, I'm sorry.
63.
I just went on.
63 to retire.
Right,
Yes.
you have to be eligible for New York State retirement, not just retirement, it's New York State retirement. For you, maybe,
Probably 60.
we're gonna have to, we're gonna be at the word 90, don't worry about it.
Medicare is 65?
Social Security, what is it?
66.
It goes up, right?
65. Yes, 65 is Medicare.
65 and a half,
Yep.
let's compromise.
67 and a half is for retirement.
That's the one. I'm talking
85.
They show that I'll be like.
about. We have nobody in that category anyway. None of
Somebody want to
the
make a motion on
employees.
what we're doing here?
I make a motion that we pursue what
We
was
approve,
discussed. Pardon?
are
You
we
want a motion
approving
to
the
approve the
manual,
manual
so
so
I
you
can
can
give it
distribute
out?
it out?
Okay, so motion to approve the manual,
All in favor?
Aye.
So in other words, we're going to at least look at some change. Correct. In what I was describing.
So this manual needs to go out,
No, I understand. that.
Yeah.
so go out to the people that
Manual
just
has to go
hired that,
right.
that it doesn't affect their retirement, they're not even here a year, so.
I understand that.
So the goal is to look at that, get it in, and then go back and revisit what you want to revisit, when we have, and have printed out nice numbers so everybody can understand what we're looking at. And then we can go to
That's
that and
pertaining
change
to
that.
all the new people. All the new people. I'm saying that they're on. There's nobody in 50 years. so
right,
I'm
they're not
saying
gonna take
It's
away.
all gonna be for the new people, so fine, just
Well,
look at it.
I never suggested it was anything to take away from
No, I didn't say that.
people, the people that are retired, or even the people who are here now that are under the impression that they can get this. thing.
Yeah, what I'm saying is,
Just new hires.
yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, but we'd also have to have the age, so it's not just 10 years. I'd have to be here 10 years at least, but I'd also have to be 65.
George is saying you can do it in 50. That's
No.
what I'm saying.
It depends on your tier.
Right,
And
there's
people
nobody
who are
here.
employed
There's
here are not
nobody here that's in
tier
there.
6, they're here.
Yeah, there's nobody here that can retire. Or will stay that long.
I'm good.
That's what we're doing. We're
Yeah.
accepting it as it is, so we can give it out to new employees, and then revisit
And old
certain.
employees, there's old employees that need
Everybody
to retire.
correct, and then we can revisit certain areas that we want to revisit.
So Doug made the
Yeah.
motion and Rick seconded.
Yep.
Now take a vote.
You did.
Okay, all in favor?
All in favor.
Number 3, accept the resignation of Martin Holmes from the Environmental Review Board as of December 31st, 2022. He's resigning his position on the ERB, but he's still remaining on the planning board.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Accept the resignation of Joanne Donovan from the zoning board of appeals as of December 13, 2022. Just moving on. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Accept the resignation of James Langlos from the planning board effective December 18, 2022. He came to us on a trial, wasn't sure whether it was something that he was gonna be able to do, and then it was just way too much work for him. He was 72 years old, and way too much work for him. He said, love to stay, but it's not something I can do. I had a nice conversation with him, nice guy, been a loyal servant of Goshen for many, many years in the school district, so. Not much we can do other than accept the resignation. He was school superintendent. Yeah, exactly. 8 years. Yeah, good guy. Good guy.
Yes, too bad.
You could see when we spoke that, it wasn't something he really wanted to do. He felt like he was letting the town down. But the tremendous amount of work that our planning board does, especially, the chair and the co-chair, Phil Dropton, and the amount of time that they spend going through the code. Most of the other people on there, just find it difficult to keep up with them. And, he just felt it was way too much work for him to absorb.
We should keep in mind all of these people for lesser intense rules.
Yeah.
Like the environmental review rules and stuff like that.
Some of them don't even, some of them don't even need. So
Right,
It's just a
right.
planning board, and we have
Planning
so
board,
much
yeah.
work, coming into the town, so much commercial and residential work that, you replied today on the next available planning board, I think you would be the first meeting in February. That's how far out they
I
are.
know, no, I was on the planning board, and it wasn't that intense at that time, but now.
Yeah,
it
we're-
really is.
With our new code, especially with water and sewer, it's
Yeah.
difficult, so it takes a lot of time. It's
Yeah,
not easy.
it's too bad.
So can I have a motion to accept his resignation? So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Review and approve Christine Cavalier's requested attend the GFOA annual conference March 31st, 2023 in Albany. Yeah, she goes every year.
Yeah, that's.
Any motion? Yes, please. I'll make the motion. Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Review and approve December 8, 2022 minutes. See anything wrong with it? Any comments? Can I get that motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second? George, second, all in favor?
Aye.
No, okay. Okay, finance.
Aye.
Discuss and approve a motion to authorize the supervisor to pay accounts payable check run for December 19, 2022, the amount of $291,261.04.
So, I think that's the wrong number. I looked, it was $291,415.88. That's mine.
Did you?
On the packet.
Maybe I did it, I thought.
That was Sunday. No, I got 291.
I got
291.
Okay, I read, on the other one.
So she did it on Sunday while she was drinking and you were drinking red.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
So I can have that motion.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Discuss and approve a motion to authorize the supervisor to pay workers' comp claims in the amount of $1,970.66. So move. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Christine Cavalier conducting accounts payable audit for December 19, 2022. You can see it attached. As well as.
See, that's where I got the other number from.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
Christine Cavalier submitted a monthly financial report October 2022. Yeah. We moving forward with Fury, right? We have actually been through the board, changing the top to the new group, If we need to get it done before the end of the year.
Well, there was memos that were going back and forth, and the one that came to me at 5 o'clock, it was, Greg, did you do this?
I sat with Christine on it, we went over the whole thing,
Every single one?
she's comfortable with every one of them on the new one. That's right.
So, yeah,
I don't think so. What we did was, you want to explain it?
Yeah.
Sure.
there's a, most of our insurance, if not all, the commercial insurance.
Right.
So this Reese group, out of Kingston, I guess,
Kingston, yep.
came in and did a application for workers' comp. And it's with the New York State Fund, 497. And what they do is they put municipalities in risk groups. Because I found out, Joe.
Yeah, I have it at the restaurant. I'm in the 497 with them.
Yeah, with restaurants, so they have separate categories, like 3 or 4. So they came in and, it was about $1,300 less than Marshall and Sterling and Comp Alliance. However, they have a dividend, and the dividend, is not a guarantee, but since back, since the year 2000, they have given anywhere from 20% to 40%. Last couple of years have been 35%. So they figured on 35%, which came out to be $18,536, which gave the total cost to us for the workers' comp of $16,212, which is I think it's like maybe 20% less. Well, I do have
It's not belongs to no difference.
Yeah, we got a termination letter from them today,
We did.
as of January 1st. Yeah, because we had to sign a letter up in
they have an automatic thing. Okay. So they, their amount to us was $87,942. And by the way, that came down 31% last year. Last year's opinion was like 127,000.
So if I could jump in real quick, it came down 31% after Christine said we're going out to bid. It's now voluntarily.
So it's enticing. It's you're not really comparing the difficulty is you're not really comparing apples to apples. There's certain things. I mean, the coverage is basically the same as far as it's costs. But another thing, and we kind of stress that. So I think is it's audited at the end. Workers' comp is based on salaries. So at the end, this state insurance fund audits your books at the end. But Christine has told me that she has put the factors into it. So
Increased factors for
there may be some increase there, but when they go through the audit, it's not going to be like $20,000 bill, which is significantly lower than what we feel salaries. So that shouldn't be an issue.
So George, what are you recommending?
What we're recommending is that we go with the incentive. And essentially, I think the judge just said before is, Greg gave us a list of different things like he thought this was not a good idea.
Yeah.
And then Christine and Joe.
We went through
this.
Line
Went
by
through all these
line.
different things. And she, at like 5 o'clock tonight, she wrote the memo basically saying that she didn't think there were any impediments into not going with 497. Right.
So as a recipient of it right now, I'm gonna tell you the great thing that they do is they fight diligently for their clients. It's not a rubber stamp for workers' comp, which is what we've had in the past. Now, we have guys that look better than me and they're out there collecting the check right now. So that's the one thing I like them. They really fight hard because it's our money they're fighting for. I've had them for 22 years at the Lancey's and we've on average, I've gotten about 6,000 back from the $35,000 premium every single year. So they work real hard to keep the premiums down and the benefit back to their people.
So to give, in fact, some of you here are longstanding, you know this situation. Back in 2004 or something like that, there was a triad. And essentially it was approved from the county, the municipalities, right?
Right, yeah.
And then they pulled the plug. They pulled the plug completely.
Yes.
But I said, oh, by the way, you have these tails, it's like 15.
Tails, right.
Yeah, 15 things. The one we were just talking about before was one.
Just paid it. $1,609 just paid.
So then, we're stuck with these things, but I tell you, you have your own opinion too, but right risk management did a really good job. They was, I think, they were, Howard Bittner, went to the meetings.
Yeah.
They pared that down from 12
Yeah.
to 15 cases all the way to 5.
Yeah.
They've been doing investigations on the people, the periodic meetings. So overall, right risk management, I think did a pretty good job for us. So, yeah.
So again, George, which one are you proposing?
No, I'm saying the 497. I'm saying 497. I mean, again, I have concerns. It's not comparing apples to apples.
Right.
The cost, naturally, is quite a bit lower. And, Christine did this due diligence. on this.
Coverage is there.
As a matter of
Matches
fact,
up.
I thought she was gonna be here today. Before, anyway,
I told her we didn't have to vote on it, so.
We can,
okay,
by the end of the year, when's the contract?
Oh, it's January 1.
So if these all guys meet,
yeah,
so we better vote on it.
yeah.
I have a question now. What happens to the cases that we have ongoing now?
Fire take most.
The 5 tail coverages,
They got a company that's taking it over.
they've, Triad is the name of the group that's taking over those cases.
Yeah.
So we are, yeah, I mean, we couldn't go unless we had tail.
No,
Right, right.
no.
But we already discussed this. We already know what each of these people are getting paid. It hasn't
Yeah.
changed.
Okay.
So even if their tribe's not in place by January 1, January 5th, we just pay the bill again, and then they'll come back and do the paperwork. So we won't,
It'll take at least 30 days for that to switch
but
over.
we already know what we're paying, so we're fine. All right, so can I get a motion to accept 497? Motion. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Gentlemen, you've been patient waiting for us. Anything from the floor?
That first thing that you voted on, sure went quick without worry.
George, you hear that? That was Bob.
I'm surprised you didn't notice.
It's not good to, I'm gonna play that for. Please watch it.
All right.
Just Merry Christmas, everyone.
I was just.
Merry
gonna say,
Christmas.
Yes, everybody have a
Yep,
great
Merry Christmas. Can I get a motion to close the December 19th meeting?